What up, everybody? Get Your News On with Ron is a happening. Let me get over to the chat here. I don't know if I got Pasta helping out or not, because he's traveling. But good morning, everybody. What up, Nathan? How are you, buddy? Good to see you. What's up, Edwin? Good morning. Happy Friday. What up, Pat? Good to see you, my man. I have an interesting question for today, and then I already know Tuesday's question too. Maybe I'll premiere it. I am wearing the same shirt as yesterday. However, disclaimer: I took this shirt off immediately after the stream and did not wear it again. So yeah, that's the reality there. I did take it off because I had to go about my day. And I went to the gym, so I didn't have this shirt on. It's not really a comfortable gym shirt. So I went to the gym, and then I went somewhere else. So yeah, I've only worn this shirt for a total of 1 hour, and that was yesterday. So I'm wearing it again. And as Edwin points out, I'm saving water. Although I don't know. I mean, one of the theories about me having to host AP by myself, and this is a theory I brought up, is that maybe I smell bad, and I've smelled bad for years, and nobody told me. Maybe that's why nobody was willing to host with me on Aggressive Progressive. So anyway, my question for today is, what are we going to do about all these Cuomo Bros? What's with these Cuomo Bros? And I know it's kind of a lighter one, but it's Friday. I thought we'd go lighter. And I know in many ways I'm preaching to the choir. But here's the deal. There's still a lot of people out there that don't realize that this is hypocrisy to the nth degree. And hopefully one of those people sees this clip or is watching right now and realizes, wow, yeah, this is bullshit. This is bullshit. Cynthia Nixon is a progressive. She's also a new face. She's fresh blood. She's got a heck of a following already. And she's a woman. And she's well-spoken. Why did the DNC, who said we're going to remain neutral in races, support Andrew Cuomo over her? They want more diversity in the party, or so they claim. They want more women. The resistance was really quick to take credit for all the DSA victories in Pennsylvania, saying, yeah, this is because of the resistance. This is because they're women. So why is the DNC, why do we have these Cuomo Bros now? Why did they support Andrew Cuomo over Cynthia Nixon? Tom Perez, you Cuomo bro. Hillary Clinton, you Cuomo bro. The Democratic establishment, you Cuomo Bros. So why'd they do it? What's wrong with Cynthia Nixon? If Andrew Cuomo is the more like an old white guy, that's what Andrew Cuomo is. Why is he more electable? Why, DNC, is he the most electable person? Explain it to me. He's actually not that popular. You know what he did? At the start of the new year, the first thing he did was screw over homeless people. That was how he started the year. He started the year screwing over homeless people. And again, I know we're preaching to the choir here. I know a lot of you guys realize, look, he's in the club and that's what they want. They want somebody that's in the club. They want somebody that's not going to rock the boat. They don't want actually progressive ideas. And how many more for instances do you need? But it's important that we talk about these for instances. It's necessary. Because there's still not a lot of us. There's still only so many of us. I mean, how many times... I lost count of how many times Hillary supporters called me sexist because I didn't like Hillary Clinton. Even though, you know what we had in common in 2016? We both voted for a woman, by the way. Just for the record, we both voted for a woman. So... Loyalty over purity, Cappuccino Conservative says. And what is that? Somebody said that to me on Twitter. They were like, well, they're just trying to find the most electable, not support the, quote, purest candidate. What does that even mean? Purity, quote unquote, is synonymous for actually having ideas. That's defined as purity now. You have ideas. You're a purist. You don't... The way we do it here, the Democrats have no ideas, the Republicans have awful ideas, and then the Democrats help them sell those awful ideas. That's bipartisanship. That is bipartisanship. The Democrats have an awful idea, the Republicans have an awful idea, the Democrats help them sell it. Cynthia Nixon is totally electable. Yes, she most certainly is. If anybody in this chat has any ideas why Andrew Cuomo will be more electable than Cynthia Nixon, it is such blatant hypocrisy. Because the Democrats, the establishment Democrats, all they have are identity politics. That's all they have. That's just the reality of it. They can't get progressives on policy. And I don't know about you guys, and feel free to answer this question. On the campaign trail in 2016, I asked so many Hillary supporters, I was like, what's one policy of hers you like better than one of Bernie's? I never got an answer. I never got an answer. The answer I got was, come on, Ron. Even, hey, you're being sexist, Ron. How? You're being sexist? How? You don't even realize it. You're being sexist. Talk about gaslighting 101. I was told that, by the way, by a family member. Told me, Ron, you don't even realize that you're being sexist. How? I'm talking about policy ideas. And I'm saying I prefer Bernie. And I'm asking you, what is one policy idea of Hillary's you like better than Bernie's? And you don't have an answer for me. Like, you don't have an answer. And then you know what I got recently from that same family member? Ron, you were right. And again, I know I'm preaching to the choir, but it's just... We have to call out this hypocrisy when we see it because there's still so many people that haven't come around to this yet. And if they realize how grossly hypocritical it is that now that they're supporting Andrew Cuomo over Cynthia Nixon after saying they'd remain neutral, that has proven the Democrats' first priority is stopping progressives in their tracks. That's their first priority. Their second priority is keeping the donors happy. Keeping the donors happy. It's Friday, guys. Come on. They gotta keep those donors happy. They have to make sure the donors happen. That is true. But their second priority, keeping the donors happy, which, by the way, it kind of goes hand in hand with priority number one. You know, those aren't that much different. That's why priority number one is where it's at. And then priority number 3 is maybe beating a Republican. That's it. That's it. I mean, it's been... It's just so, like, slapping people in the face. Like, it's just slapping people in the face so distinctly. And then a lot of people, they still don't realize it. And that's why I'm still calling out these hypocrisies when I see them. How hypocritical. The establishment that if you didn't like Hillary Clinton, you were sexist. Point blank, no discussion. You didn't support Hillary Clinton, you were sexist, end of story. Meanwhile, they will go support Andrew Cuomo over Cynthia Nixon without the bat of an eye. How is that any different? You guys are Cuomo Bros. You guys are Cuomo Bros. Tom Perez, you're a Cuomo Bro. Hillary Clinton, you're a Cuomo Bro. Democratic establishment, you're a bunch of sexist Cuomo Bros. Did they say anything about policies Andrew Cuomo had that they like better? I didn't hear anything. Did you guys? I didn't hear anything. What do they have against Cynthia Nixon's policies? They got nothing. So all they can say is, oh, she's not electable. Really? A popular actress? A popular actress? Popular at the grassroots level? Celebrities are kind of hip right now. Look at who the president is. Let me go to the chat here a little bit. Let them eat spam, Steve Mnuchin. Mike S. says, shut up, Ron. That's your white privilege. We're Trump-loving Russian bots to them. How about we don't even bother with giving into this useless identity politics shamming and stick to policy? I am sticking to policy. I'm asking the question. Why is Andrew Cuomo more electable? Why is Andrew Cuomo more electable? What's one policy idea he has? Screwing over homeless people. That's the last thing I can think of that he did. On New York City, January 1st. He signed a thing further demonizing homeless people, which if you've been to New York City in the past 10 years, you want a city that really comes down hard on the homeless. Wow. New York City. I was walking through New York City once at 5:30 a.m. because I was catching a bus. And you know what they do to get the homeless people out of Times Square in the Manhattan area? They go around blasting music at full blast. And the song that they were blasting when I was walking by, I kid you not, was Fortunate Son by Creedence Clearwater Revival. That's what they do in New York City. To the homeless, that's what they do in New York City. Andrew Cuomo signs legislation to screw over those people further. Andrew Cuomo's not that popular. Cynthia Nixon is against fracking. She's for living wages. She's for free college. She's for single payer. The Democratic establishment has no rebuttal to any of those policies positions. None of them. Because Hillary was against all those things. And what did they say if you oppose Hillary? You're a sexist. Now you're seeing the hypocrisy come into full form. This is hypocrisy to the nth degree that they're supporting Andrew Cuomo over Cynthia Nixon. And when we call that out, we're not stooping down to their level and playing identity politics because we have nothing else. We're exposing another layer of their hypocrisy. That's what we're doing. And we need to expose that. Why? Because there's still only so many of us. Thank you for the super chat contribution. Plantastic Life. That's a cool screen name, by the way. I don't think you don't call it a screen name anymore, do you? You totally don't do that. It's what is it called in the sense of YouTube? Like channel? Are we all just channels? Like, what do you call the names of, like, handles? Is it handles? I mean, on Twitter it's a handle. What is it on YouTube? The Intercept article from May 23rd entitled "Party Leaders Are Not Just Strategic Geniuses, They Just Really Like Moderates, New Research Finds," backs up your case. It sounds like it would. Yarrow points out, from what I've seen on Twitter, Cuomo Bros keep bringing up all the, quote, progressive policies Cuomo has proposed, but failing to mention how they didn't pass because of the IDC colluding with the GOP. I haven't even seen that. I haven't seen any policy talk. Just that, oh, he's the most electable. But what reason? What reason? How is he more electable? She's everything the DNC claims they want. New blood, new ideas, diversity. She's all those things. Andrew Cuomo? None of them, really. Why are you supporting him over her? I've seen no policy. And even if they said, oh, he supports progressive policy, so does she. So does she. And he's done a few not so great things as of recent. So why either don't support anyone and remain neutral like you said you were going to do, or why not give some new blood a chance? Because you're hypocrites. Because you just want to please the donors and stop progressives. That's what you're there for. That's what the DNC exists for. Name recognition is strong. That's another thing they've thrown at you, and you guys pointed out in the chat. Name recognition is strong. How'd that work for Hillary Clinton? DNC. How'd that work out for Hillary Clinton? Name recognition is strong. How'd that work for Hillary Clinton? Remember all that name recognition Bernie Sanders had going into 2016? No? Me neither. All right, let's move on. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to find our starting point here. You guys have been tweeting some articles. Feel free to tweet some more, by the way. This is from Lee. I'll go ahead and give it a Get Your News On with Ron retweet. Oh, man. I got an ad. Alright, so a native man removed by police from Hibbett Sports after wear dreads 911 call. Okay. Robert Rebideau, who was shopping at the Hibbett Sports in Owasso, Oklahoma, filmed himself being escorted off the property by 3 police officers. He says this was racially motivated. Okay. So back in February, Robert Rebideau, I'm sure I'm butchering that name, and I apologize, Pawnee, Ponca, Ottawa Nations, was shopping at a Hibbett Sports store in Owasso, Oklahoma. While in the store, he was trying on clothes, sending photos to his wife. Were risque photos? You get what I'm saying? Was he? All right, sorry. During his time in the store, an employee called 911, stated Rebideau was making them uncomfortable. On the call, the employee said Rebideau asked if the female employee was working alone, and stated his hair had weird dreads or something. When he walked out of the dressing room, he was met by 3 police officers and asked to leave. He filmed himself being escorted off the property by officers. While recording the incident, he stood outside the door and described what was transpiring. Rebideau said he was issued a trespass order and was told not to return to the store. He was also later arrested on an unpaid parking violation warrant. In an interview with Indian Country Today, that's the outlet this is from, he said he was wrongfully removed from the store and that the staff's actions were most racially motivated. I guess there was just a fear inside this person that made them afraid of my ethnicity. I went into the dressing room. When I walked out, there were 3 cops just standing there. The store clerk came up and grabbed the clothing out of my hands, and I looked around and I said, "Is there something suspicious or illegal about trying on clothes?" It hurt my spirit. I forgot that I'm a minority. Wow. According to Robideau, the employee's reason for calling on him changed and included him asking if the employee was alone and going behind the counter to forcibly take the dressing room key. He denies this claim. The lady has changed her story 4 times. First, she said, "I took the key behind the counter so I could let myself into the dressing room. I did not. I said, let's show the video." Wow. And a Tulsa attorney representing him told Indian Country Today that Robideau never asked if the employee was alone. He says he asked standard questions about clothing and even asked if she could take a photo of the clothing he had tried with his phone so he could send it to his wife. And they compare this to the Starbucks incident. That's really sad. That's a really sad story. Yeah, that's what else can you say to that? That's very sad. I mean, if somebody said, "Hey, are you working alone?" and then just stood there and stared at the person and breathed heavily, I get that that's suspicious. But first of all, there's disputes over whether or not he actually said that. They're saying he actually didn't. And again, it's all about context too. So it seems like he was just looking for assistance and they called the police on him because of the way he looked. That's what this sounds like. And it's kind of sad that's the world we live in. I don't really have anything else. I mean, I don't know what else to say about it, I mean, it's like... right now it's just a he said, she said back and forth, and it certainly sounds like all this man did was shop at a store and was engaging the person working there because he wanted assistance. And that's an offense if you look different, apparently. All right. This is from Jesse. And we'll go over to the Reddit here in a second. How global colonialism shaped segregation. One of the first U.S. municipal laws demanding residential segregation, passed in 1910 in Baltimore, has roots in European colonial policies. I never knew that. So throughout the United States, segregation was widespread in the decades after the Civil War. Historian Carl Nightingale finds, however, looking at a municipal law passed in 1910 Baltimore, that residential segregation roots go back to European colonial policies from over a century earlier. Interesting. All right. So segregation might seem like an obvious goal for racist whites, but Nightingale points out that during the centuries of American slavery, a segregated city would have been unthinkable. Large neighborhoods set aside for black people would have quickly become organizing grounds for slave revolts. Even well after emancipation, many Southern whites were more worried about what black people might be doing in their own communities than their behavior in integrated spaces. They also offered justifications for explicitly supporting the social mixing of races. So yeah, they didn't want integration because they weren't racist. They were just worried what black people would do in their own communities. So as early as the late 17th century, the British East India Company officially designated walled sections of Madras, India as White Town and Black Town. So in the decades following the Civil War, segregation became a more appealing option to many white supremacists. Nightingale argues that this new goal drew on ideas about race and geography that colonial powers have been developing around the world for more than a century. They mentioned India, and they mentioned European imperial powers laid out separate districts for Europeans and natives in hundreds of cities in Africa, South Asia, Australia, and the Americas. Wow. So segregation goes further back than we realize, according to these historians. That's pretty interesting. Cool. Thank you for sharing that, Jesse. I never knew that, and now I do. So I learned something new today. And let's keep moving. Here's something a little lighter. Because so far we've talked about institutional racism and segregation, and here's something a little lighter for Friday. This is from Edwin. Edwin has a disclaimer with this. Are you visiting family, Ron? Here's an idea. And this is about how to get beer delivered to your door in Pittsburgh. I'm from Pittsburgh, so hence the visiting family part, which, by the way, you know what? I'll make an announcement at the end, but I just confirmed a date in Pittsburgh. So if there's any 412 dwellers in the stream, I'm coming at you. How to get beer delivered to your door in Pittsburgh this summer. Stock up without leaving the barbecue. It's the unofficial start to summer, and that means buds, burgers, and beers. But buds, burgers, and beer. So what is the... Oh, buds refers to buddies. When I first read that, I thought buds referred to, like, beer, like Budweiser, you know, because it's like, what are those? Yeah, bro, here, this bud's for you. But then I was like, wait a second, they have beer at the end there. So then my second thought was that bud referred to pot, and I was like, wow, they're really, I thought Pennsylvania hadn't quite come around to that yet. I guess we're really forward, but then, I mean, buds refers to your buddies, right? All right, fair enough. I have all my barbecues alone. That's my thing. So that never dawned on me that was what that meant. My barbecues is just me by myself grilling, and then I have a beer and a joint, and I'm just like, the weather's great. Wow, I just did that motion. I can't take that back because it's a live stream. That was supposed to be a joint and a beer, but it probably looked really stupid. And someone will make a meme of it later, and I did it to myself. It's the unofficial start to summer, and that means buds, burgers, and beers. Just in case you run out of the third item on the list this weekend, which is beer. You might run out of friends too, but we can't do anything about that. You can have beer delivered directly to your door with 2 recently launched delivery services in Pittsburgh. Yes, you have to be 21 to order beer, so in case any teens are reading this article, just cool it. Alright, so there's the Calenti Pizza and Draft House, for example. They'll deliver you some beer. There's also the Zing Basket, a Pittsburgh-based company that promises to deliver groceries to your door in 45 minutes. Now, they also deliver beer. So, anybody in Pittsburgh, you can get your booze delivered. Beers, buds, burgers, and buds, and more buds, and beers, and buds beer. So, I don't think I'll be in Pittsburgh at any point this summer. I'm actually coming to town in November, and on November 23rd, which is Black Friday, I'll be performing at Hambones in Lawrenceville. So if anyone here, let me make sure that that's the, yes, that is Black Friday. I'll be performing at Hambones in Lawrenceville. So I hope to see all of you there. All right, let's see what else we got here. This is from Sam, and Sam wants to know, do you think that the NRA will use this story to advance a good guy with a gun narrative? Well, let's see what the story is. All right. So, this is in regards to a shooting. So, let's go to this story. And let me go ahead and give the whole thing and Get Your News On with Ron retweet. It's a thread, so I'm trying to get to the root of it here. So the police ID suspected gunmen and civilians who shot him outside Louis. Okay, so I guess this was in Oklahoma City. Police have released the names of the suspected gunman who opened fire Thursday night at the Oklahoma City restaurant, as well as a woman who was injured and the two men who shot the gunman. Alexandra S. Tillman, 28, of Oklahoma City, walked into Louis Bar and Grill at Lake Hefner at about 6:30 p.m. Friday and fired several rounds from a handgun, police said. 3 people were shot. Natalie G. Niles, 39, and 2 unidentified girls. Tillman then walked outside the restaurant where he was shot and killed by Juan Carlos Nazario and Brian Whittle. An unidentified man fell and broke his arm while fleeing the scene, police said. Niles, the unidentified man, and identified girls were all in good condition Friday morning. Tillman was arrested by Oklahoma City police on May 18, 2003, after he allegedly struck his mother in an argument over a vacuum dealer. So your question, will the NRA use this as a good guy with a gun, for instance? Yes, of course they will. Of course they will, and they'll probably fail to mention that 3 people were shot anyway. Of course they'll use this as a good guy with a gun story. And according to my cop friends, this is what GOT Progressive in South Carolina has to say about that. According to my cop friends, a good guy with a gun is a good guy that will probably be mistaken and get shot when the cops show up. Yep. All right, we got a couple super chats here. Do racist colleges commit institutional racism? Maybe they have a degree in redundancy that can answer that. TFW, Ron doesn't go to Denver or New York City. I'm not sure what the college thing refers to specifically. I might be missing something. And also, I did go to Denver. I was in Denver. Well, I've been to both those places. I haven't been to New York City in a hot minute, which I really need to change that. And hopefully I will be in New York City at some point this year, either solo or with Graham Elwood or with the Jimmy Dore Show in some capacity. Denver, I was in Denver last year. I performed in Denver last year, last September. So it's been less than a year since I've been to Denver. And I really hope to get back soon. And I will. Denver's a really, the whole Colorado area is a really easy place for me to tour in outside of LA because flights to that area are really cheap. You can really get good deals to Colorado if you just book far enough in advance, and then can just string along 3 or 4 dates in a small area, just kind of rent a quick car. So I love touring Colorado. I got some good friends out there. There's some great comedy scenes out there. I will be back in Colorado, probably with Graham. Me and Graham have talked about Colorado is kind of on our warm list. So, Balthazar, if you're in the Colorado area, I will see you soon. If you're in New York City, I hope to still see you soon, but I don't have anything solid there, but I got to get there. It's been a couple years since I've been to New York. You know, I always just kind of hang on in my left coast area. And Balthazar, thank you very much for the other Super Chat contribution. Do you think the Dems will push the only way to stop a bad politician with a corporate donor is a good politician with a corporate donor? I don't even think they'll go that far because their hypocrisy is so blatant and unapologetic. But so far, they're still getting away with it. So it's up to us to stop them from getting away with it. We got to stop them from getting away with it. So, Sam, the answer to your question, yes, of course the NRA is going to try to make this look like a good guy with a gun story. Even though 3 people got shot anyway. 3 people got shot anyway. And, you know, I mean, like GOT points out, a good guy with a gun is likely to be mistaken by cops anyway. I mean, when people were saying, what if someone in Vegas could have been there? And so you mean somebody could have shot into a hotel? Somebody could have shot from the floor? They could have shot into a hotel? Then the cops would have gotten there. They wouldn't have known who's who. And they just would have started shooting into the crowd? Yeah, that would have been... I mean, the logic is just remarkable. But yeah, I mean, of course the NRA is going to try to spin it that way. All right, let's see what else we got from you guys. This is from DC. Go ahead and give it a Get Your News On With Ron retweet. And feel free to keep submitting articles, you guys. We're not... And this is an article about Allison Hartson. Meet Allison Hartson, the candidate who pushed Senator Feinstein to pivot on pot. This California Senate candidate for cannabis reform is polling only points behind opponent Kevin De Leon with a campaign fueled by small donor donations. Though Californians have long been on the front lines of cannabis legalization, less could be said of their elected representatives. Only recent has incumbent Senator Dianne Feinstein, who faces a primary election on June 5th, begun to vocalize support for legal marijuana, despite over 25 years of serving as the Golden State's top lawmaker in Washington. But Allison Hartson, one of the Democratic challengers aiming for Feinstein's seat, says she's personally never had to evolve on the matter of legal cannabis because she supported it all along. As the former national director of Wolfpack, whose mission is to end political corruption, and they're trying to get money out of politics, Hartson spent her time knocking on doors and working with legislators campaigning for a constitutional amendment that would overturn the Supreme Court's ruling on Citizens United and related cases. Allison Hartson is also an educator. Hartson's running with the Justice Democrat. She posted a video in April criticizing Feinstein's long-held stance on cannabis legalization. Just a week later, Feinstein flipped her position on pot. The article didn't put that in quotes. I'm putting it in quotes. Because Dianne Feinstein is not... First of all, and, you know, this isn't necessarily... This article is a pro-Allison Hartson article, not necessarily talking about Feinstein, which is great. However, just for the record, Feinstein coming around to pot in California, that's just a political chess move. And I'm not saying that to diminish Allison Hartson. I'm saying that to let people know, don't be fooled by Feinstein. That's just a political... Because you have no choice... You have no choice but to be pro-pot in California at this point. I mean, we're already, like it's just in the rearview mirror here in California. Like, we've legalized it recreationally, like, it's in the rearview mirror. We still have work to do, but you can't be a Democrat and go against pot. So, you know, there's no way you can... So, I mean... Dianne Feinstein, what I'm saying is don't be fooled by Dianne Feinstein. And I know chances are nobody watching this video is. But again, somebody seeing a video in the future might be. Feinstein is just saying something because politically it can't hurt her. Coming out pro-pot in California, it can't hurt you. A, because the base is pro-pot anyway. And B, because even if you wanted some anti-pot legislation, you don't have a shot at this point. We're only going to keep moving forward. So it's... Don't be fooled by Feinstein, is what I'm saying. And Allison Hartson was on this show. She did an excellent job. And, you know, Pat Harris did a great job as well. David Hildebrand did a great job as well. We got 3 very qualified progressives in the Senate race. I wish somehow we could have prevented that situation because chances are only one of them or none of them is going to move forward. And just so you know, the 3 I'm referring to is Hildebrand, Harris, and Allison Hartson. Not Kevin De Leon. Not Kevin De Leon. So, yeah, that progressive vote's going to be split. And I don't know how that's good strategy. I wish this could have been prevented, but it wasn't. And that's just the situation we're in. But don't be fooled by anything Feinstein says. And I don't think Kevin De Leon is much better. I know a lot of people, they said, look, we got to get Feinstein out no matter what, so if I have to hold my nose and vote for Kevin De Leon in the general, I will. If the runoff is Kevin De Leon and Feinstein, I don't even know if I can do that, because De Leon takes corporate money. He doesn't apologize for it. He claims to be that progressive, but he ignores progressive media. Everything about that guy points to he would stab single payer in the back if given the opportunity. And here in California, we've already seen the effects of that. We've already seen the effects of a wolf in sheep's clothing. We've already seen what faux progressives can do, i.e. Anthony Rendon stabbing single payer in the back and shelving it and prohibiting single payer from happening in this state. And whether you live in California or not, that affects you too, because if California gets single payer through, it's going to spread across the country. And me and Gail McLaughlin talked about this yesterday. So I know some people, they're willing to vote for Kevin De Leon and hold their nose if they have to. I don't think I can. And if you can, that's fine. I'm not trying to voter shame you. I understand. But, you know, I feel like it would just come back to bite us. And Kevin De Leon, you're invited on this show to come prove me wrong. Come convince me otherwise, Kevin De Leon. He has declined coming on this show thus far. He's not gotten back to us, by the way. And I'm not special. He's avoiding all progressive media. It's not just me. TFW is that feeling when... All right, let's keep it moving. Let's keep this train, keep it moving. So, Yvette shares this, and this is from Andrew Cuomo's Twitter feed. I humbly accept your nomination to serve a third term as governor of the great state of New York. Hashtag NYDems 2018. People in the thread say, whose nomination are you accepting? Goldman Sachs? Did you win the primaries? Oh, they haven't happened yet? Delete your account. Pandactivist responds that. I know Pandactivist. I've done her show before. Her show's great. All right, so you know what? I'm gonna get in on this too. I guess there's nobody else running, question mark. Cuomo Bros. Shameless in their... I'm just going to put, I guess there's nobody else running, question mark, and then hashtag Cuomo Bros. And guys, I will say this too, since we're on this topic and we've talked about it a lot today. I encourage you to use the hashtag Cuomo Bro. I encourage you to do it. Again, because it exposes the hypocrisy of it all. And that's important. Stuff that's obvious to a lot of the people watching this stream, and that's obvious to me, it's not obvious to everybody yet. So please use that. Please use the hashtag Cuomo Bros. Alright, let's see here. We still got some more stuff from everybody. Like, they're literally trying to pretend like no one else is running. That's what Andrew Cuomo did with that tweet. He tried to pretend nobody else was there, and the Democrats just handed it to him. So they want to make you think that no one else has a chance. When did they do this before? They did this before in 2016. When all the superdelegates lined up. And the media reported it as such. And they failed to mention the fact that it was just the superdelegates. They wanted everybody to think nobody had a chance. It was already over. So that people stayed home and didn't hear about policy because you don't have a choice anyway. How democratic does that sound to you? It's not. It's not. They're doing the same thing. What Cynthia Nixon is dealing with in New York City right now, or New York, that's the same thing Bernie Sanders dealt with. The exact same thing. It's just unbelievable. I mean, they are so... It's so over. And how do you expect to really fix this? I mean, it just seems so beyond hope at this point. All right, so a couple of you guys are tweeting about... Harvey Weinstein, so we'll do a couple of these. I guess there's been an update with him, and this is my first time hearing about it, so I'm going to learn about this too on the spot with you guys. But this is from The Intercept, and this is over 2 years old. So this is something we already know. Harvey Weinstein urged Clinton campaign to silence Sanders' Black Lives Matter message. The movie mogul Harvey Weinstein, a longtime ally of Hillary Clinton and a major fundraiser for her campaign, urged her campaign to silence Bernie Sanders' message against police shooting of African Americans. So, yeah, we know that Harvey Weinstein, I'm not going to dig too far into this again because it's 2 years old, but we all know that Harvey Weinstein had the ear of the Clinton campaign. He was pro-Clinton, and he gave them advice. One of them was to counter Sanders' messages on a couple of accounts. Also, Hillary Clinton, did she say anything about the guy? No, not really. Did she say anything about the harassment that was going on within her own campaign? No, not really. Did she have the backs of those people? No, not really. Just for the record. So here's an update. And this is from recent. So keeping that in mind about Harvey Weinstein. Harvey Weinstein is set to turn himself in to face charges related to sex abuse in New York. Disgraced Hollywood mogul Harvey Weinstein is expected to turn himself in to authorities on Friday, that'd be today, in New York to face charges stemming from an investigation by the Manhattan District Attorney's Office into allegations of sexual abuse. A law enforcement source tells CBS News senior investigative producer Pat Milton that Weinstein is expected to turn himself in on Friday morning and will appear in court. His attorney declined comment yesterday. So let's see. I mean, I had not heard that he was about to turn himself in. It is Friday morning, and it's Friday afternoon where he is, if he's in New York. So let's see if there's an update. Did Harvey Weinstein turn himself in? Now go to the chat. Yep, so he did. He did. He's officially arrested. Here, this is just an hour old. Harvey Weinstein was arrested today. This is from CNN. All right, let me go ahead and tweet this out. So we're covering this in real time, folks. This is my first time looking at it. And that's how we do things here at Get Your News On with Ron. We do it in real time. We work it in real time. That's part of the fun. So Harvey Weinstein was arrested today. Here's how it happened. So he was in New York City. He surrendered himself to New York City police. He was charged with rape and other sex crimes. Here's everything you need to know. Mega producer Harvey Weinstein turned himself into New York police this morning. Here's the charges. 1 count of first-degree rape, 1 count of third-degree rape, 1 count of criminal sexual act in the first degree. There are They are for 2 incidents, one in 2013 and another in 2004, involving 2 separate women. A judge just set his bond at $10 million. He also had to surrender his passport and will wear a GPS device. While the charges are for accusations from 2 women, dozens of others have come forward to accuse him. Benjamin Broffen, that's his lawyer, told reporters that Weinstein plans to enter a not guilty plea and said that he's confident his client will be exonerated. He added that he wants Wow, listen to this. He added that he wants jurors who are not consumed by the movement, alluding to Me Too. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. The establishment that he is part of, that Harvey Weinstein is a part of, will prop up the Me Too movement when it's convenient for them. And then when it's not, they'll marginalize it and thumb their nose at it. This is the establishment. This is them. They're all on the same team. And they don't mind when it's one of their own. They're cool with all this stuff. They don't care. When Harvey Weinstein's writing checks, they don't care. They don't care what he does. And now they can just thumb their nose at Me Too. Do you think anybody in the Democratic establishment will condone this or will come down on this and criticize this? I guarantee you, no. No, they're not going to criticize that statement that attorney just made. They're not going to say, wow, how dare you marginalize Me Too? How dare you say that? Nobody in the Democratic establishment, no one in the Clinton establishment will say anything about this. I guarantee it. Unbelievable. He just said, I don't want anyone that cares about Me Too. What do you want then? What do you want in jurors? Do you want pro-rape jurors? Is that what you want? That's disgusting. What do you want? Do you want people? You probably want people that aren't paying attention to anything that you can manipulate. I mean, that's what all attorneys want in a jury, right? Nobody will say anything about those attorneys' words. I promise you. Well, not nobody. I mean, shows like this, that's where you'll get people talking about that. The Clinton campaign, it's unbelievable. Actress Rose McGowan tweeted, "We got you, Harvey Weinstein, we got you." Meanwhile, Italian actress Asia Argento said she was glued to the screen while watching Weinstein's arrest. How disgusting is that? Balthazar says, "But Ron, why should we care about Black Lives Matter or assault victims or Wisconsin or really anyone else who's poor? They've never given us large PAC money." And that's a Nancy Pelosi quote. A fake Nancy Pelosi quote, of course. But thank you, Balthazar. Made me chuckle. I don't want anyone who's consumed about this Me Too thing. This whole, like, hey, we're not going to tolerate disgusting behavior anymore, and we're doing something about it, blah, blah, blah. Wine, 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 am I right? I don't want anybody like that on the jury. I mean, come on. Harvey needs help. Harvey. Unbelievable. Nobody's going to talk about the fact that he said that. Nobody in the establishment. I should specify. Nobody in the establishment. It's just such a... Ugh. So, you got a reminder of who Harvey Weinstein was working with, what he stands for, what he's all about, who his club is. Does Ron only read certain super chats? No, I read all of them. If I missed any, it's not because I didn't want to read them. It's because I didn't see them because I don't have anyone helping me. Pasta's not helping me today because he has a family issue he's dealing with in New York City, so I'm all by myself. So if I missed any super chats, I apologize, but it certainly was not on purpose. Here, let me go over to the main screen to make sure I got them all. But I try to stay on the actual stream itself so I can see everything. But I guess I can still do that on the other page too. Are we okay? Alright, so something's telling me the stream is not in good health, but it seems like we're going okay. Alright, so I'm going to end with your all super chats. Alright, so the Intercept article from May 23rd is... Okay, we read that one. Kim, just wanted to say hi, missed you a lot. I did miss a ton of super chats. How did I miss all these? Shit, I'm sorry, you guys. Wow. Sorry about that. All right, well, let's do the super chats now, and I apologize if anybody had to leave before I read theirs. I really do apologize. Usually Pasta helps me, so I don't need to be as on top of it, but Pasta is not here. He's dealing with a family matter. I don't know if he wants me to go into detail or not. That's why I'm not. So I'm by myself today. So I apologize. I read this one. Kim... Thank you for the super chat contribution. Just wanted to say hi, missed you a lot on streams, and proud of the aggressive progressives you did. Thank you very much. Also, did you see the Wall Street Journal article on Credit Co? I saw it briefly. I did not read the whole thing. We should really do that on the stream, but we don't have enough time to do it now because we only have 5 minutes left. But we should really do that on the stream. I'd like to cover that. And I'm going to read it on my own more in-depthly. I saw it briefly last night, started reading it, got to read it more thoroughly. Let's see. Balthazar, I read this one. Do you think I read that one. That feeling when colleges are institutions, so racism they commit must be institutional. If they commit institutional racism... Oh, okay, I understand what you're saying. If you had to vote between two progressives, no Donor Stein or Kevin D. Lying in a runoff... which two would you want and who would you vote for? I don't know if I'm understanding this. Are you saying if I had to vote between... Oh, I see what you're saying. You're saying De Leon are out, Feinstein's out. Okay, which two would you want and who would you vote for? That's tough. That's really tough because honestly, I thought all three of them were great on this show. I like all three of them as people. I have selfies with all three of them, admittedly. And I'm not even kidding when I say I am undecided. I don't know who I'm going to pull the lever for. No matter what happens, I look forward to see what David does. I look forward to see what Allison does. Whether they make it or not, I think they all have a future in politics. Pat, I don't know if Pat if Pat doesn't win, I don't know if Pat wants to have a future in politics. I heard him say that he likely doesn't. So the only reason he could if he wanted to, I think he's a great candidate, but he may choose not to. Whereas for Allison and David, I think they definitely do. So no matter what happens, I look forward to what they do. I hope I'm in a situation where they're running for different things. I hope they don't run against each other forever. But yeah, I mean, I'll be honest with you about Balthazar, and I'm sorry that I don't have a juicier answer for you, but the honest truth is I've not decided yet which one of those three I'm going to cast a vote for. You know, me and my girlfriend talk about it because I really don't know who I'm going to go for. And I still have a little bit of time to decide, and I am honestly undecided. And we got to wrap up here because one of my lights went out. $1 million question. How many spies were put into the Bernie and Jill Stein campaigns? You know, I've asked that question before, too, because I really do wonder, you know, if they were throwing some people at Trump, why wouldn't they do the same to Stein and Bernie? I posed that question on the Jimmy Dore show. Maybe that's what you're referring to. Do we know for sure that they did? We don't know. But would it be surprising if they did? Of course, it wouldn't be surprising. In fact, I'd be more surprised if they didn't. I'm not saying they did or not because I don't know. We don't know. We don't have any evidence one way or the other yet. But I'd be surprised. And it looks like our stream's getting a little wonky here, so we got to wrap up. But Ron, why? Okay, I read this one. Balthazar, this is the last one. What about poor Bill Clinton? He was the victim of a smear campaign, especially on that dress. Rising Democratic Progressive Star, HRC. Balthazar, funny pun. I appreciate it. Guys, we are totally out of time. My lights are going out, and we're out of time. Kate, you did a great job on Aggressive Progressive. See the front page about the New York Times about the Clintons not being relevant anymore. It was pretty awesome. They said they are bad at elections. Thomas Frank has a new book. Thank you, Kate, for all the above. Thank you for the compliment. I appreciate that. I'm glad you like my Aggressive Progressive appearance. I had a lot of fun doing it. It was a bit of a rush. And I will see that New York Times article. I will also read more thoroughly about Randy's thing in the Wall Street Journal. I did read it briefly, but I'm going to read it more thoroughly, and we're going to talk about it because I feel like I should talk about that. So we're going to talk about that next week for sure. Guys, thank you so much. This has been Get Your News On with Ron, the world's first viewer-curated streaming news show. Little bit of housekeeping. Graham Elwood and I are on the road in June 20th through the 24th. We're going to Nashville, Tennessee. We're going to Huntsville, Alabama. We're going to Asheville, North Carolina, one of my favorite college towns in the world. We're going to Louisville, Kentucky, and we're closing out that tour in Atlanta, Georgia. RonPlacone.com for information and tickets. RonPlacone.com for information and tickets. And if you want to go to one of those shows for free, you can if you're a patron. Patreon.com/RonPlacone for a pay-what-you-can level. You get all kinds of exclusive content and free tickets to my shows if you are so able. Patreon.com/RonPlacone. Guys, I love you very much. On Tuesday, I will be hosting Aggressive Progressives again. Still filling in for Jimmy because he's in Oslo. So there will not be a regular Get Your News On with Ron on Tuesday. And then with the holiday week, I have a cousin coming in to visit me in Los Angeles. We're going to punk rock bowling in Vegas. I'm actually pretty stoked. So next week, the schedule's going to be a little weird, but we will definitely be back by Thursday at the latest. We do this Tuesday through Friday, unless otherwise noted, at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. This has been Get Your News On with Ron, the world's first viewer-curated streaming news show. Last housekeeping, May 31st, Los Angeles, California, Sycamore Tavern, Politics Night at the Dojo, got a fantastic lineup. And Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, November 23rd, I will be at Ham Bones. Tickets for that are not available yet, but they'll be available very soon. I love you all very much. Have an amazing weekend. I will see you all next week. By Thursday at the latest, I'll keep you guys posted on my Twitter what we decide to do as far as time goes. I love you all very much. I will do a better job monitoring the chat when Pasta is not here to assist me. I apologize it took me so long to get to your super chats. And thank you so much for being part of this. Without you, the show wouldn't exist. Have an absolutely wonderful weekend and a wonderful holiday. Peace.